Welcome to this beautiful park with me today. I feel kind of fresh right now. I didn't shoot a video the last 2 days, but I'm gonna try to just jump into it. I throw this out right now in case anyone's noticed what happened to my head. Yeah, I kind of bumped my head. Bled a little bit, it's okay. I just threw it out there so you guys don't have to ask me about what happened. So anyway, I wanted to talk about, I'm not gonna really dive too deeply into this topic. I'm not like the most qualified professional on this subject, but there's a lot of things that I've witnessed that I just see, and they're like patterns, and they kind of happen over and over again. And it's like, you know, I see these patterns, and if you just can avoid some of these certain things, it can honestly help you not ruin your life, I will say. This is a video about relationships, about marriage, about how to pick your partner, or at least things I've noticed. I'll start off with a story. I feel like that's really the only way the lesson really like lands, or any lessons really land. I have say acquaintance, I don't want to throw anyone's name out there, who got married with somebody, and apparently I found out that they had, I mean, not like I'm judging them, it's just what happened. They had their first fight on their honeymoon. It's like, damn, you with someone that long, you have your first fight on your honeymoon. And I feel like there's a lot of different ways to approach that. It's like, wow, you guys made it so long, you didn't even have a fight? Or it's like, oh, that's a flag. You know, you have your first fight on your honeymoon, that's supposed to be like the best night of your life, and in some sort of theory. What I honestly wanted to say though is, my girlfriend who I'm with now, like, these people, they look at us like they wish they had what we had. Like, we look like we're a lot more close together, but we fought all the time. You're gonna fight in any relationship you have. Like, I'm not telling you to be in a relationship where all you do is fight, all you do is argue, you know, and it's just a constant problem. That's not what I'm telling you, but I am saying that you will fight. And honestly, I feel like the only way to kind of deal with this is to at least find somebody who you can manage your fights with, manage your problems with, somebody who in a sense wants to change for you, because you can't make somebody change, but if they want to change for you, not like in a bad sense, not like they're becoming a different person just to please you, but it's like they're willing to grow as a person, to become a calmer, happier, less aggressive, less angry, more stable just as a person, so they could have a more, you know, joyous, loving relationship with you. But, you know, it's something they would have to do with anybody who they're with, because we all have issues we got to work out. So yeah, that's kind of my real first point that I want to put out there. Because honestly, I think you could ruin your entire life with this. You really can. But let's wrap up that first point. It's not really about trying to find someone who you have some perfect relationship with. For this, my story of my acquaintance that I knew, they went so much time, a year at least, without a single fight. Then their honeymoon comes, they get married, and they have their first fight. And I think that meant, to me, that means that they were in that, what you call the honeymoon phase, for the entire beginning of the relationship. It was all blissful, it was all joyful. They were trying their hardest, they were trying their best. And then when they got married, they didn't even wait. They didn't even wait, because there's lots of times when people get married and it kind of restarts the honeymoon phase, but they literally had a fight right after they got married. So it's like, immediately then the real side of them comes out, as Eckhart Tolle would call it, their pain body side. Like, we all have past trauma, past pain, past problems. We all got things we're going through. That's why I said too, I don't think it's necessarily the goal to find someone who you're just not going to have a problem with, but to find someone who you're going to be able to work your problems out with. Someone who's going to listen to you, who's going to understand you, who's going to try to grow as a person for you, who's going to try to give you all the love and attention that they can possibly give you. Someone who makes you feel good, who makes you feel happy, with understanding that it's not going to be like that 100% of the time. You're going to have a problem, you're going to have a fight, you're going to get into arguments with this person. It's not going to be all bliss and joy and wonderful, but trying to just tell you to find someone who you can at least get past those and get back to the blissful states. Because if you're in a relationship right now and you're asking yourself, should I marry this person? Is he the one? First, I would like to say, if you gotta question it, then you gotta wait. If you gotta question it, you gotta wait. I should have opened the video like that. If you gotta question it, you gotta wait. Because honestly, if you're not sure, then don't just jump into a marriage and then wait to see if you find out later. I think that's literally the easiest way to ruin your life, which is the whole point of this video, is to marry the wrong person. I don't think, honestly, logically people get this, but I'm gonna try to just sort of rephrase it, I don't know, purpose it, try to just get this point out there, because it's probably an idea I'm gonna say that you get logically, but I see people make the mistake though, like they don't understand it. If you marry a person, you know, if you married him, you didn't have kids, you were with him a year or two, it's still a relationship you can try to get out with. If you don't wait too long, you don't waste too much time. But after you guys get comfortable, you get too familiar, you have a child, especially if you were to like buy a home, you become dependent on each other financially, you know, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. When you start becoming dependent on someone, especially, I want to also, dependent also comes into the familiarity bias, where it's like, sometimes you just get used to having that person there and you don't want some stranger there, you know, in his place just because you're familiar with that person, but this person might be bad for you. What I'm really trying to make a point on here is I honestly think this is the easiest way to ruin your life, because people don't understand, because I see it make this mistake that person, no matter who you are, you're stuck with that person now for the rest of your life. Even if you guys get divorced 20 years later, they're still going to be in your life, especially if you had kids. You can't just really run away from them. They're always going to kind of be there, and you're always going to have to deal with that person. Why this can ruin your life, I mean, honestly, I could summarize it in a simple point, but it's really like, I want you to understand this. I want you to take action against letting this happen to you. But you could come home every single day and you can argue, you can fight, you can complain, you can be upset, you can be miserable, you can be sad, you can be depressed, you can be full of anxiety, you can just have the worst, most miserable life while convincing yourself that everything's fine, that you love this person, you love your kids, you love your home, you love your life, and you might hate all of it. Every single part of it. You might want to literally throw it all out, but then you've been with them for so long, like you can't just leave your physical family. You gave birth to this man's kids, or this woman gave birth to your kids. You can't just leave them. I mean, essentially you can just kind of run away, but I hope you kind of get the idea that I'm painting here. I honestly think this is the easiest way to ruin your life. I see so many couples, and it's like, I feel like my parents seem like they have a good relationship now. Honestly, I feel like they look like they have a good relationship, but I see a lot of couples, like they were a good example for me in a sense, but I see so many couples, and I say so many couples, I say it over and over again, because I feel like it's like almost every single couple, it's like they kind of just got with someone they could get with. They got comfortable, they got dependent, they got relaxed, and then they just kind of stay with that person. Honestly, I think a lot of it is coming from a scarcity mindset. You're in fear that if you were to leave that person, you're not going to find someone else, or you're in fear that if you leave that person, they're not going to financially support you anymore. So you become dependent on them, you become hooked on them, which is better to just not let yourself get dependent on anyone. Gotta check. I flipped the camera around, see when it's gonna cut me off. Yeah, that's a good point to get into. Honestly, I think a good way to get into a relationship is to not be dependent on that person. To almost like, you know, okay, I can find someone else. I can find someone else after that, and I can find someone else after that. And I don't need them to financially support me. Man or woman, I can support myself. I can take care of myself. I can do everything I need to do. I'm looking for a partner in life who's gonna help me, who's gonna help me grow as a person, who's gonna help me grow my family, who's gonna be support for me, who's gonna be good for me. I'm not just looking for anyone so that I can leave my parents' house as fast as possible, so I can be financially independent as fast as possible. Try to really just plug in the idea here that you don't want to just jump into a marriage. You don't want to just jump into a relationship, at least just jump into a long-term relationship. I'm starting to get to my point where I'm rambling. I'm kind of going around in this video, kind of plug in a lot of different ideas, a lot of different things I've seen around this subject. I feel like I hope you got the general idea of this video. I'll try to sum it up, because I see, it just feels like everybody is kind of in a relationship that maybe they shouldn't be in, and it looks good at first, it feels good at first, it seems like it's so right for you at first, and then 20 years down the line you're still with that person, you guys have kids, you guys live together, you're financially, emotionally, mentally, physically dependent on each other, and you're just stuck together, and your life is miserable, and you want to just run away off with, marry somebody else, start a whole new family, start a whole new life, and it's just not that easy once you've already settled down and you got comfortable. You can always still leave. You can always, that's not saying that if you're in a bad relationship right now, you can't leave. If you know you should leave, then leave. You got to figure it out one way or another. It might be hard at first, but there is that possibility that you can find somebody else, or you can at least even support yourself and be single and be happier. Although the message of this video is to convey to people to try to not make the mistakes in the first place. Don't jump into a marriage, don't jump into kids too soon. You can still live with a person. I live with my girlfriend. I'll say that again, I live with her. I've lived with her for over 2 years now. We live together. We're not married. I'm not cheating on her. I don't think she's cheated on me. That's not the point for this video. But it's like, we're together, we are still comfortable, we are still familiar, we are still dependent on each other mentally, emotionally, financially. We're helping grow each other, but we're not like locked into each other. We're not like we feel like we have to be together. It's still at a place where we like want to be together, where we choose to be together, where we don't feel like we're stuck with somebody who we don't want to be with. And honestly, I think it's the way of the future. There's the old days are like, you got to get married as soon as possible, I don't want to get too much into religion, but religion at times does play a role with that, where they want you to get married before you do things, and it's time for that to end. And the only reason I say it's time for that to end is because there's too many people out there that are following these rules that their parents, that society, and that religion, that life gave them, and then they get locked. They get stuck in a relationship that they don't want to be in, and with a family that they don't want to be with, and the rest of their life is basically ruined unless they can get out of that situation. And not only get out of that situation, because you can get out of that situation and fall into a worse situation. You can get out of it and then have nowhere to go, end up homeless in a spiral of depression. It could go as bad. So you got to not only get out of it, but then you also got to find yourself a way into a better situation. And I don't want that for you. I would rather you not make the mistakes in the first place, or at least if you are in that place where you're already there and you're gonna leave, don't make the same mistakes you made the first time. I say a good number, a really good number, and there's a lot of reason. Like, I've done a lot of I call it like dating study. Like, I've studied a lot of things of these sort, even because they relate to a lot of the things I teach, just dealing with human psychology. But I would say a good number, just out of personal experience, out of what I've learned, is 3 years minimum. To be with a person for 3 years, to have a lot of fights with them. Make sure you have I think I heard the ratio was like you should have 3 to 5 good interactions for at least every one bad interaction. There should be more good than more bad. And that bad interaction, you need to try to get to a place where you can at least work things out. But I think a good number is 3 years, because you got to give it 2 years to make sure the honeymoon phase almost starts to die out. That you start to just get comfortable with this person, familiar a little bit, so that your true self comes out, their true self comes out. They show you what shadows, what skeletons have been hiding in their closet. You show them theirs, and you see if you can honestly accept this person for their craziness, and if they can accept you for your craziness, because we all have problems. It's a good subject for this video, a good way to wrap up this video. We all have problems, and it's just about finding that person who you can deal with their problems, they can deal with yours, and you can both help each other grow into something beautiful, something strong, something holy. Have wonderful life, have the most wonderful life you can possibly have. You know, just go home and happy to be with them, happy to be with your family, you know, just happy and carefree, feeling good all the time. And it doesn't mean you're gonna be like that 100% of the time, but at least most of the time. And at least if you have a problem, you can fix it. So yeah, I'll leave it too on, if you're already in that relationship that you know you gotta leave, at least try to not make the same mistakes again so you don't get locked into a bad situation. Wait to get married, wait to have kids. It's a new day, it's a new age, it's a new time on this planet, it's a new world. We don't have to follow the rules of the old world. It's time for us to make new rules. New rules for the new world. Our world shifted. Like and subscribe for daily videos. I hope y'all learned something. I hope I inspired somebody. I hope that changed somebody's life. I'm on a daily mission to change as many people's lives as I can, raise the vibration, make everybody feel good, give people better lives. And today, I'm pretty sure I kind of really try to shove the point in there. Just try to not make this mistake. It's not really that hard. All you gotta do is wait. Wait to make sure they're the right person. Wait to make sure you should have kids with them. Wait till the honeymoon phase dies. Wait till you see who they really are and they see who you really are. And then when you're sure you should be with this person, then be with this person. But don't come from this blissful place of everything is perfect. Don't buy into the illusion, because the illusion is going to break down at some point and you might be stuck with somebody who you have no idea who you are. And I mean literally stuck, and I mean literally the rest of your life could be potentially ruined, or at least ruined until you get out of that situation and find another situation, which could be a lot more stress and work. And like I said, if you're already in that place and you're leaving, let's try to at least not do it again and go back to the same place again. Have a nice life. Not a nice day, nice life, because I want to inspire you to change your whole life. Now I end this video. Have a nice day. Like and subscribe. I'll be here every day. I love you guys.